In this video, I got something I want to bring to the table. I want to speak on. I ran into a video on Instagram by this brother by the name of King Randall. If you're not familiar with him, he's a brother out of Georgia, young man. I think he's like 22, 21. Started a school called the Boy for X, and basically what he did was he started a school for a lot of young men who don't have fathers in their life. Um, Great young brother, great young brother, and at his age doing what he's doing, I mean, it's just, I mean, it's pretty much unbelievable what he doing and who he have become as a young man. Being in this world, where if you're not a thug, I'm talking about in the black community, if you're not a thug, if you're not quote unquote cool or doing things that's degenerate, doing things that's destroying the black community, like slanging iron, being in gangs, selling dope. You're not doing those things. You looked at as a lame. And a lot of young men can't really deal with that. And then a lot of young men, I don't know his background, if he came up with a father, but I'm almost positive he did, but I don't know. But a lot of young men today, especially young men that grew up without father, they don't have that structure, to guide them in the right direction, and they choose those avenues. And then once they get caught up in those avenues is with quote unquote, in my opinion, they the devil because they bring all the things that's good like women, money, but ultimately you lose your life, you lose your freedom, and all kind of other bad stuff happen when you live in those type of lifestyle. But these days, that's the cool thing to do. And a lot of young black men choose to go that route, and for him to not go that route and basically not only not go that route, but he not only went there, he went against the grain by trying to change that, change the narrative, and he's a person who is doing and not sitting back talking, right? And so I'm gonna get into this video a little later on, but before I get into this video, I want to speak on something that's gonna be brought up in his video, right? And I believe I might be mistaken, but I know I'm not. I just don't know the name of it. I have to find it, and I can put it in the description. But I got a video on my channel that I spoke about. As a matter of fact, I think I did. It was either on Martin Luther King's birthday this year, which was in January, or after. It was around that time, and I made a video. And the question was, why does America like to push MLK toward black? Anytime you're in a situation, especially with liberal whites or any type of white person, they love to bring Malcolm. I mean, you don't hear nobody talking about Malcolm. Malcolm has never been. You don't. To be honest with you, you're not taught about Malcolm in school. Only way you're gonna really know about Malcolm X if you, of course, maybe your family told you. If you black, you're gonna know about him. Your family told you about him, or But other than that, you just gonna know that he was a black man who got assassinated. That's all you really gonna know. He don't have no monument in Washington D.C. like Martin Luther King. He don't have his own day like Martin Luther King. He's really not that celebrated. You know what I'm saying, in the world, especially. You know what I'm saying. I mean, you got certain black people who celebrate him, and certain religions or whatever, but individually as a country of United States of America don't celebrate Malcolm X, and I'm gonna show you why. A lot of people never really ask that question, right? And once you grow up, or not say grow up, once you start going down certain levels and trying to find certain things out, there's a lot of things you find. You find that Martin Luther King Jr. really was a sellout. He was somebody who sold his people to the Democratic Party. And there's a lot about him that you can find out by going and look at Uncle Tom, the documentary part 2, and there's just a lot of things you can find about Martin Luther King, and he wasn't who everybody thought he was. But I'm not gonna go into that. That's not so much what this video about. But I always say, and I got a video about that. You can click the link in the description and find that video. It's called "Why the Civil Rights Movement Was a Big Mistake for Black People." I always will say, and I'm gonna stand on that, saying that I never change from saying that time, if time over time, we was going to eventually come together and figure things out as races in America. It's just inevitable. Either we wasn't going to kill each other, so eventually we were going to come to grips of, listen, we got to live together, we got to coexist with each other, we going to have to share bathrooms, we going to have to share schools, this is what's going to happen. But what the civil rights movement did and people like Martin Luther King did was they was begging the white man. Oh, I just have a dream that one day little black boys and little black girls gonna hold hands. And they never was begging for a transfer of wealth. They never was begging for a transfer of equality, power. My bad. That's not all they wanted was equality. They didn't want a transfer of wealth. They didn't want a transfer of power, of equality and power, equality and wealth. All they wanted was, in Malcolm X's words, was to share the toilet with the white man. That's all Malcolm X. That's all Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement was about. And what happened is they end up selling the black communities to the Democratic Party, to the fake black leaders, to some of the fake black pastors, because all black pastors is not fake. They have some great ones, but I'm saying most of them these days are fake. They just hustlers. And but what happened is that civil rights movement made black people believe that they needed a leader beside God. God is the only person that we need to lead us. He gave his son for us, and his son left his Holy Spirit that we can get when we believe in him and we seek him. Right? That's the only people that's the only thing that's supposed to be leading us. God, Jesus Christ, and his Holy Spirit. Right? And if you're a woman, your husband should be leading you, and he should be leading you if he a part of God. That's the order of Christ. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, woman over children. No other man, no pastor, no president, no fake black leader, nobody should be leading you. But what the civil rights movement did was it told black people, listen, we're fighting for you. Whole time they were selling us out to the Democratic Party, who have never done nothing for us, and who still to this day don't do nothing for us. The Democratic Party, the party who founded the KKK, the party who founded the Jim Crow laws, the party who voted against the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. But because in 1964, I believe, they signed a civil rights bill, like I say, which is the civil rights movement sold us to the Democratic Party. They never done nothing else for us, and that wasn't really nothing major. But it was major, but that's it. That's all they ever did for us. But like I said, time was going to bring us together, right? You never force your way on nobody, because you're not going to get the love, respect that you want or deserve. If you force somebody to tell you, look, I don't want you in my house, but you make every case and force yourself into people's house, they may accept you, but you're not going to be, it's going to be with a grudge. They not going to want you there. You want to be wanted. So we forced ourselves in their schools. We forced ourselves in their jobs, their neighborhood, their colleges. And that was the message that MLK pushed. I want everybody to get along, this globalist, socialist mindset. Whereas Malcolm X, on the other hand, was about rulership. He was about rulership. It wasn't about, and that's why it's not that he hated white people or hated anybody, but he understood that his people, if they would create their own avenues, we wouldn't have to beg and blame nobody else, because you got a country now where black people is still blaming white people and Jew people for their issues, when they got $1 trillion worth of spending power and they can do whatever they want to do. Just a couple years ago, in 2020, 21, when they had the PPE loans and all these loans that people was getting from the government, I knew several, and people that may listen to this knew several people. I'm talking about, when I say people, I'm talking about cliques of people. Like friends, 3 or 4 friends, 3 or 4 female, they all got PPE loans ranging from 20 to 38,000. You know what they could have did? Well, look, this is what we gonna do. You got 38,000, you got 20,000, you got 30,000. This is what we gonna do. 5, 6 homegirls got together. Go to y'all got 150 now. Y'all got about 150 band, 120 band. It's several things that they could have came together with that money and do to create generational wealth. Let's name a few of them. They could have came together and said, look, wherever city or town they was in, look, let's do something for our kids, because they always crying saying that wherever the white kids at, they can't go because they get looked at funny and the people start leaving and acting funny. Well, go open up your celebration station for the children, because you know all these black women got children. Go open up a celebration station. Go to the, if you ain't got all the money you need, go to the bank with 150 cash and tell the bank, look, we got 150, we need y'all to match us, pay that little interest, get y'all 150 from the bank, 200, 250. Go build you a celebration station. Invest that, 400,000 or 500,000 in that celebration station or whatever you have. It don't got to be nothing big or major, but just invest it in something, right? Invest it into making a little celebration station, a bowling alley or something like that, party city or something where people have parties and stuff. And they could have got together and did that, and then the money that accumulated from that moving forward, or you never know, somebody could have bought it from them. They could have sold it, anything. They didn't do that. You know what they did? They went and bought booties. They went and bought designer. They went and bought clothes, right? Another thing they could have did, they could have went and bought a house. They could have, 3, 4 of them could have got together, put their little money together and bought a house. Bought the house, cash money, and let the person who and bought the house and sold it and put it on the market to sell. Because at that time the market was the housing market was booming. Houses was worth 2 times, 3 times, 4 times what they was originally worth. It was booming before COVID. And even during COVID a little while, stuff started kind of getting shaky in 2021 and last year. But I'm saying this thing that they could have did, right? But they don't do that because a lot of black people don't have that rulership mindset. They have an employed communist mindset. And like I say, this started from the civil rights movement. We're going to believe in somebody instead of believing ourselves in the Most High. Because see, if you believe and put all your faith in the Most High, he going to lead you in the right direction to do the right thing. But people don't even give him a chance. They putting their faith in a pastor. They putting their faith in a president. They putting their faith in a fake black leader like Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton. And like I say, I always say this in my videos. Right now in the black community, anybody from the ages of 45 under, they get all their information from either a celebrity. They vote who the celebrities tell them to vote for, the rappers, the athletes, and they do whatever these people tell them to do when it comes to serious issues that's gonna affect their life. These people rich. It don't matter it don't matter who come be a president, or these things don't matter for these people. Like right now today, you had people like Cardi B and all these LeBron James and all these athletes telling black people who to vote for. When guess what? Now the economy is so bad, people that got college degrees is struggling. LeBron James and Cardi B, yeah, they tax might have went up, but they not struggling. So you can't listen to these people when it comes to serious situations, but the civil rights movement started that. Prior to the civil rights movement, contrary to popular belief, blacks was doing great. They understood they understood what the climate was in America. They couldn't go to certain places. They couldn't do certain things, so they made the best of what they had. They owned businesses. They bought homes. They was doing great. Go do your research. Go watch Uncle Tom 1. Go watch Uncle Tom 2. It's 2 documentaries. Go watch that and just go do your own research. Black was doing fine. Blacks was doing fine. Even people talk about the Tulsa situation. This was a whole area, of black-owned business in the 1920s. Right? And of course, they got the lie about the Tulsa riot, and I'm not going to speak on that too much in this video. You can do your research on it, but what I will say is not what happened, what people told is not what happened. People say that, the white people were just so mad that black was doing good that they just went burnt their city up. That's not what happened. First of all, that would have been criminal. And at the end of the day, the blacks did have a sun on their back in that time. It was hard for black, but just stuff like that, stuff was happening. Don't get it twisted. KKK throwing crosses, but just go and burn a whole part of a town up because black people doing good. No, that wasn't just fluke. And what happened was, it was a business deal that went bad, and it turned into a fight that would end up being a riot. And of course, the white people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, was more deep than the blacks, and they overtook them. But what they don't tell you is the Black Wall Street in Tulsa was built right back up even better. It was built back up even more better than it was before, and they don't even tell you all that. So let's be clear on some of these things, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. When you start to do your own research and stop listening to the lies people told you, which is most people they don't want to get rid of the lie because the lie make them feel good, I guess. I don't know why, but and then a lot of time it's hard to unlearn and relearn the truth. You know what I'm saying? And the truth always is just hard to accept. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's for your benefit or not, the truth is always gonna be a hard pill to swallow. But anyway, going back to what I'm saying, so the civil rights movement was a big mistake in that way because it made black people have never shook back since. Like I say, right now, if they 45 and under, they don't think for themselves. And I'm saying for the most part. For the most part. Like I always say, and I didn't say this, I always put this disclaimer out here on the beginning of my videos that everything I say, I'm speaking the rule. I'm not speaking on the exception. I'm speaking on the rule. We always know it's an exception. We always know it's not all or nothing. But most black people 45 and under, they vote, they do everything according to what's cool and what the celebrities, athletes, rappers tell them to do. 45 and older, 50 and older, they don't think for themselves. All they do is listen to what the black preachers say, the members of the Democratic Party, and the fake black leaders like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. That's who they listen to. So nobody in the black community really think and do for themselves, and then they still begging for equality. They still begging to this day. You got black people, old and young, and it's the older one that's raising some of the younger one that don't think for themselves that is black. And then the next thing, you have these celebrities who living high on the hog, and they telling you, yeah, you oppressed because you black, and that's really so despicable. I despise the celebrities that do that. Because y'all living high on the hog, got a white assistant, got a white manager, everything white, but you telling the black person that they can't make it. Well, how you made it? That was always my question. That was always my thing with these Jesse Jacksons and Al Sharptons and all these fake black leaders. If I can't do it, why are you doing it? Y'all live in the best houses. Y'all children go to the best schools. Y'all live in the best neighborhood, and y'all living high on the hog. So what is it that y'all did that I can't do? See, I wasn't raised like that, and I never looked at life from the standpoint of somebody can do something I can't do. Yes, you got some people who blessed in certain areas for the like basketball players or a particular talent. So I may can't play basketball as good as LeBron James, but it's something that I could do that God gave and blessed me with that I can get the same amount of money and fame and prestige, or not fame, forget the fame, but it's something that I can be proud of myself that he can't do. We all created, what I'm saying, in our own way, and God blessed all of us with a talent that not only we can use to make money, but he also blessed us with a talent to make us unique. And some of us share talent, you know what I'm saying? But that's another story. But what I'm saying is, and so and because of the civil rights movement, because like I say, prior to that, blacks wasn't crying, begging and blaming. They understood what it was, and they was handling life as such. But the civil rights movement came and said, hey, you have this person. This person is holding you back. It's Whitey's fault. It's the Jews' fault. It's this for, and black people are still in that mindset today. And that's why I say the civil rights movement was a big mistake. But if you take all the civil rights movement and get rid of it and just leave us with Malcolm X and put Malcolm X in the driver's seat that Martin Luther King was in, the whole black community would be different. And the reason why the whole black community will be different is because Malcolm X spoke rulership. Malcolm X pushed rulership. Malcolm X said, pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Malcolm X wasn't blaming. Okay, this is what we going through. This is the climate. How can we make way through this? And that's what Malcolm X preached. And even and I got this picture on the screen because let's read what this say. When blacks gave 80% of their vote to the Democratic Party in 1964, black activist Malcolm X called them political chumps. You put them first and they put you last because you're a chump. you're a political chump. Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that can't keep the promise that made to you, you are dumb enough to walk around continue to identify yourself with that party. You're not only a chump, but you're a traitor of your own race. Now, it's so crazy that he said that because guess what? It's 2023 and black people are still peeing. Everybody else then left. Everybody else then left. That's why the Democratic Party pushing so hard for illegal aliens because they know if we get them in this country, they gonna feel like they owe us, right, to give us their vote. Black people, a lot of especially black men, they leaving the Democratic Party. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is this: they still right now, especially the older blacks, they still stuck on the Democratic Party like a. I'm talking about pinned to it. You can't if you try to get them from off of it, they'll swing and punch you in the mouth, verbally, maybe even physically. You try to get some of these blacks, especially 50 plus old blacks, off the Democratic plantation, bruh. I'm telling you, bruh. That's not man. You gonna have a problem on your hand. You can show them everything, give them all of data, anything they love, and this is something Malcolm X told them in 1960. I think this was 1963. He said it, but they was going into this 19. They said it because the way they worded it like that because this was the 1964 election, right? And so I'm saying this to say, and then no, maybe yeah, cause no, was it 63? That okay, Kennedy got killed in 63. Malcolm got killed in 65, and I think the election was in 64. I might be wrong on that, but he said this in 64. And I want to switch to this real fast. After he said this, he was killed 2 days later. And you know, a lot of people said that Malcolm X got killed by some of his own people from his party because he came from Mecca and he said some things he wasn't supposed to say about the minister and all this and all that. Malcolm X did have a lot of enemies. That is true. But the thing about it is this: Malcolm X had a rulership mindset. So you never know who killed him. You don't know if it was a situation from the minister. You don't know if it was some where it was because Malcolm X couldn't live. If Malcolm X would have lived, his voice, his message was going to eventually, especially in that time where the man was majority, the head of his household, Malcolm X's message was eventually going to be louder than people like Martin Luther King. Because people was going to say, you know what, he's saying, we got one party saying, I just want to be equal and share a seat with them. And then you got this party saying, forget them, let's build our own. So I feel in my heart of hearts, by at that time, the men being the head of the household, eventually Malcolm X message was going to be louder, and that was the message that was going to be adapted by the black community. And to this day, we'll be in a way better situation. Because let's be honest about it. Let's be honest about it. Let's be honest about it. You got black people right now still crying about equality, still crying and begging. And listen, the powers that be, whether it be the white man, the Jewish man, whatever, the the powers that be is in power because the way they operate. And that's why I'm about to get into this video by this brother to orchestrate how they operate. And the thing that they have been doing to keep them in power is the thing that put them in power from the first place. Of course, it's a little bit more different now, but I'm saying the same thing that they did coming to this country, they doing it now. The same thing that put them in power is they continuously doing to keep them in power. Why the black man, only the black man, nobody else, the Asian man, the Arab man, all of them come over here with an understanding of I gotta take. I'm not coming over here asking for no handout. I'm not coming over here I'm coming over to take while the black man still crying. When I say the black, I'm talking about the black America. Black America is still crying. Why would these people who in power, this is what I ask black people, especially the ones who so-called oppressed, because we far from oppressed, but the ones who claim that they so oppressed by the white man or the Jewish man or the power that be, my question to them is this. The thing that the so-called white and Jewish man that's oppressing you have did and done to keep him in power and to put him in power, why would he stop that and give you some power? That's almost the equivalent of you going living with your parents and you asking your parents, say, Mom, can I have the same authority as you in the household? It just not gonna work like that. Either you gonna have to take that authority or you gonna continue to get fed crumbs, symbolic and traditional trinkets. That's why the situation like the reparations conversation, they'll never take black people serious about a reparation. They know all we gotta do is give y'all a black president, give y'all a black vice president, black when she wanna be black, give y'all we lied they lied and said they were gonna so called give us Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill, give us a Supreme Court justice, put all these black token Negroes that ain't gonna do nothing for black people, but black people so caught up in the blackness that we just want to see somebody in a position that so called look like us, even though they not gonna do nothing for us. We know that with Obama, but we just want to see a black woman in the Supreme Court justice. We just want to see a black vice president. We just want to see a black president. We just want to see some black this, black that, even though it's not doing nothing for us or helping us as a community. Because these people who get in these positions that's so-called black don't care about black. All they care about is their bank account and power. Steak on their table, bologna on yours. And then they get on TV and tell you that the white man gonna hold you back, but it didn't hold them back. And you believe it because you caught up into your blackness and not common sense. Right? And so, you know, you have these type of situations and they not going to take you serious enough to say, okay, your people went through some certain things, the people who is have slavery in their lineage, because all blacks don't come from slave. That'll be another thing. Because if they did do the reparation situation, they would have to do a bloodline thing, whereas who actually did come from slaves? All blacks didn't come from slaves. We know slavery was not in the entire America, right? So a lot of people get their bubble bust with that, right? But for the ones of us who did come from slaves, and I want to be clear before I go any further, I'm going to stop right there for 1 second, that for the ones of us who did come from slaves, and our people had to go through it, I feel that we should get reparations. The Japanese got them for their part of being, the World War, I think it's the World War One, World War Two situation where they had to keep the Japanese in camp because they didn't want them to, be spies or however that went. Everybody else got reparations. Black Indians got their reparations. So blacks for they part in building America. And I get it. Yeah, they was getting housed. Yeah, they was getting fed and all that there. But they did get put under some very heinous situation. And if you have a lineage of that, your people, and if your people come from slave, if you come from a slave, yes, I feel we deserve reparations. But what do I think those reparations should be? A large lump sum of money? No, sir. No, ma'am. I do not think black people should get reparations in the form of money. This is what I think black people should get in the form of reparations. 1, they should be exempt from taxes. 2, they should at least get an acre of land. 3, they should get a free education to any college or university. That's the 3 ways I feel that black Americans that was connected to slaves should get reparations. And I'm not finished. Because Africa was the original manufacturer who sold us or our people, we should get a percentage in stock of natural resources in the continent of Africa. That's what I feel we should get as reparations, right? But I'm going to get off that situation. Reason why we never going to get those reparations is because they going to keep giving us these symbolic victories. Hip-hop history month. And little stupid stuff like that. And black people, like I say, so caught up into that, so caught up into a black president, black vice, all these little black, situations, black people here, black people there. They know what that's going to do is suffice us for that moment. We're going to be happy. We're going to celebrate. And that gives us the false impression of, America moving forward. America been moved forward. And we could have moved forward without these token Obamas, Ketanji Brown Jacksons, Kamalas, all people who so-called black and don't do nothing for their people. just something for us to be quiet and not get on that reparation situation. And we not gonna be taken serious until we say, you know what, forget all that. This is what we want. And that's another thing. A lot of these loud mouths don't even have a plan. They don't have a plan. They just want to argue with white people, black liberals, black wokety woke, these internet revolutionaries. They don't have a plan of what they want to do moving forward with their people. They just want to argue with white people. Um, right? And so you had these situations going on, and so they not go they don't they why should they take us serious and do that? Because they keep giving us these small little pieces of something, and they make us feel, oh yeah, but and so what I'm saying is, going back to this situation, and that's why if you always wonder, like I always wonder, why didn't they push Malcolm X like they pushed MLK? Because had they to push Malcolm X like they pushed MLK, black people was gonna take his method and run with it, and we'd be in a whole better situation right now as a race. But I'm gonna play this video by this brother King Randall, and the thing that he's saying is very important. And after he finished, I'ma chime in. I might play it twice because I want you to understand and listen to what this brother's saying. And after he finished, I'ma chime in.
Between Malcolm and Bayard Rustin. And Malcolm said, if white immigrants could come to this country years ago with nickels and dimes and no education, come and pool their little nickels and dimes and no education, set up stores, develop those stores into larger stores, which turns into an industry, which creates job opportunities for their own kind. He said, with us at that time having spending power of $20 billion, today it's over $1 trillion, not using any of that money to set up any industry, not setting up any factories, not setting up any job opportunities for our own kind, we're not in a moral position to point the finger today at the white man and claim that he's discriminating against us for not giving us jobs and factories we hadn't set up. So I'm listening to this, I'm like, this sounds like 2021. So I'm just like, man, so I'm like, well, if we say the schools are failing, why don't we try opening our own schools? If we say that the hospitals are failing, why not opening our own hospitals? So I went on a quest. I told my boys, I was like, listen, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to open us up a school one day. I'm not sure how we're going to do it.
Powerful balls. I'm about to run that back. I'm gonna run that back one more time. But the brother, everything this brother said, how the white people came over here, they put their nickels together, created, and I'm gonna show you something. I'm glad this. Listen, they did that because they had a. And remember what I said? The things that they did to put them in power, they still doing. Right now, today, I mean, my best friend was white. He passed away, but my best friend was white. And I remember one day we was riding a car. We was in the street. We was hustling. That was back in the days. And we ride. And at that particular time, we neither one had children. He got a son, but he, like I say, he no longer with us. R.I.P. Corey. Um, but we neither one had children, right? And we would be talking about, this, that, and the third, and how we gonna grow up and have money and do this and do this and do that. And he said something one day that was groundbreaking to me. And he said, yeah, man, because I gotta make sure my grandkid is good. And I looked at him. We smoking, and I looked at him. I said, "Your grandkid." And it was funny to me. It was funny to me. I looked at him. I said, "Your grandkid, bro. You don't even got kids yet, bro." You know what I'm saying? And that was the mindset that he had way back then. And of course, he white. I wasn't even thinking about my kids. I don't have kids. Still don't have kids. But I'm saying I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about me and my mom and my daddy. I'm gonna make sure I'm good. We're gonna be good. That's how our mind was. And it's still the same way today. We as a race, all we care about, we got like this young brother just said, we got $1 trillion worth of spending power. It's not an issue. I seen the situation yesterday with the little boy who the 16-year-old, which I made a video about that. He got shot. He got shot by going knock to this random white man door on accident. And overnight, well, not overnight, in 48 hours, this man had raised close to $2 million. So it's not that black people don't have the money. It's not the black people don't have money. It's not that they being oppressed. It's none of that. But that's that disease that comes from the civil rights movement, right? That's that disease, right? We have the spending power to do whatever we want to do. Black people are the most powerful, well, not the most powerful, but one of the most powerful, talented, educated group in America. We up there with anybody. I ain't saying we above nobody, but ain't nobody above us. But it seemed like it because we at the bottom of the economic pole. Why is that? Because we could tell you right now who got fake Jordans on, who got fake design on, who how many baby mamas this rapper got, when the new episode of BMF come out, but we ain't got no life insurance. We ain't got no trust fund for the children. But we got a designer though. We got a BMW though. No trust fund for the children. No stocks and bonds. No IRAs. Nothing in the children's name. We don't even have life insurance on ourselves. These other people go to work. You'll see them right now today. I got a white friend. They go to work and they all about taking care of their family. They'll get them a nice truck. Don't get it twisted, but not the black. I remember I was working at the plant one time. I never forget this. And the plant, everybody at the plant making money. Everybody at the plant making $20 an hour or more. Well, probably that was then, probably not more, $30 or more. Chemical plant. And if you would notice in the parking lot, you would notice something. And you would notice something from the guy that you talk to. All the dudes you talk to, the black guy, they got 3-4 baby mamas. They got a nice car, 2 nice cars. They talking about is hitting different women. The white boy conversation completely different. White boy got him a nice truck. He getting off going home to his wife. And listen, I'm not comparing or trying to put nobody that's superior to us, but we just got our energy in the wrong direction. We will go spend all this money on jewelry, like these rappers. If you knew how much these rappers make, it'll blow you away. But majority of them not buying no real estate. They not coming together. Right now, I'm gonna be honest with you. The Jewish community really got a major hand in hip hop. That could be gone right now. That could be done. They could have you could take a few rappers. The money that them rappers making today, you could take about just say 10 or 15, maybe 20 of the top rappers right now, and they could come together and build a global empire and take over the whole hip hop industry. It's their culture anyway, but they not gonna do that because another thing that we have bad in our community, we always want to compete with each other. You heard what this brother said, and I know he's not wrong because I'm into finance and I'm into finance and I read a lot of stuff about finance, Wall Street Journal, and I do my research on finance. Black people got a spending power that pretty much in the top 2 or top 3 in America, might be number 1. And ain't about we broke. We just spend our money on the stupid stuff. We spend money on the majority of the thing we spend our money on as blacks is to show other blacks that we doing better than them. To flex. That's the word we use in our community. To flex. We'll spend money we don't have to go take a vacation to flex on our Facebook friends and followers. We'll spend money that we don't have or have. Some of us got it to flex. And I'm not saying for everybody. Like I say this is the disclaimer I always put at the beginning of my video. The things I say is not all. It's just the rule. Everybody that's doing these things is not trying to flex on nobody. But I'm saying knowing black people and the way they mind set up and how they work. And some people may say, well, that's how you feel. No, that's not how I feel. But I know how blacks are. You see it in the captions. You see it in the captions by the thing that they say. The captions that they put when they travel, the captions that they put when they're in a designer store, the captions that they put when they spend thousands with the jury man. And it's all about we have to do better than the next. That's how we are back before the civil rights movement happened. Doctors stayed in the hood and built their community together and made their community nice. Now the black doctor, he not staying in the hood, and really I don't blame him, because if he do stay in the hood, his nice car gonna be getting broken, his house gonna be getting broken, and he gonna be a target because he a doctor in the hood. At this point, we our own worst enemy, man. And people keep on hollering, begging, and complaining. Listen, and I tell this to black people every time I get an opportunity. Until we come together and get on our ruling, and we all come and we all get on one accord, and that one accord is having a ruler class, rulingship mentality. All these other races got rulingship mentalities. All these other races got rulership mentalities, and they male dominated. The black man is the biggest simp on earth, not even a close second. And the reason why is because the majority of them is raised by a woman. And when I say simp, I mean not taking control over the household. A lot of these households, even with a man in them, the woman is in charge. And women are great. Women are great. I'm not no beside it. I'm not no woman basher. Women are great, and they special. And there's so much that they bring to the table that a man can't bring. You give them your semen, they give you a child. You give them grocery, they give you a meal. You give them a house, they give you a home. But they have their role that they have to play, and a lot of them are out of their role. In these other cultures, these women are playing their position. And so until those things get put in place and get fixed, and we stop holding our hands open, begging for equality and take rulership, ain't nothing gonna change, man. And in some situations, things may get worse. But I want to play this one more time. I want to play this one more time, bro, because this brother's dropped some balls. And I'm going to close out after this. And I want to thank y'all for watching and listening to what I had to say. Once again, this is a brother named King Randall is his name. He got a school in Georgia called the X for Boys. I believe he have a website that you can donate to if you're interested, called the xforboys.org. This brother is a real amazing brother, and like I said, I think he's like 22 and doing the thing that he's doing and saying the thing that he's saying, but most importantly, doing, because everybody's saying, but he doing. So God bless this brother, and I want to let y'all listen to what he said and how powerful what he said mean to the community at this point. Because the thing that he's saying, it's so important, and it's why Malcolm X is not put at the forefront like he should. Because see, if black people had the mindset of Malcolm X, they try to make it like he was a violent person, and because he was by any means necessary. No, he had a ruling class mindset, and his mindset was, listen, forget begging somebody else, we gotta make a way. And there's no better time ever than right now for black people to make their own way and make the way for their bloodline coming behind them. I'm out.
I heard a debate between Malcolm and Bayard Rustin. And Malcolm said, if white immigrants could come to this country years ago with nickels and dimes and no education, come and pool their little nickels and dimes and no education, set up stores, develop those stores into larger stores, which turns into an industry, which creates job opportunities for their own kind. He said, with us at that time having spending power of $20 billion, today is over $1 trillion, not using any of that money to set up any industry, not setting up any factories, not setting up any job opportunities for our own kind, we're not in a moral position to point the finger today at the white man and claim that he's discriminating against us for not giving us jobs in factories we hadn't set up. So I'm listening to this, I'm like, this sounds like 2021. So I'm just like, man, so I'm like, well, if we say the schools are failing, why don't we try opening our own schools? If we say that the hospitals are failing, why not opening our own hospitals? So I went on a quest. I told my boys, I was like, listen, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to open us up a school one day. I'm not sure how we're going to do it. I heard a debate between Malcolm and Bayard Rustin. And Malcolm said, if white immigrants could come to this country years ago with nickels and dimes and no education, come and pool their little nickels and dimes and no education, set up stores, develop those stores into larger stores, which turns into an industry, which creates job opportunities for their own kind. He said, with us at that time having spending power of $20 billion, today is over $1 trillion, not using any of that money to set up any industry, not setting up any factories, not setting up any job opportunities for our own kind, we're not in a moral position to point the finger today at the white man and claim that he's discriminating against us for not giving us jobs in factories we hadn't set up. So I'm listening to this, I'm like, this sounds like 2021. So I'm just like, man, so I'm like, well, if we say the schools are failing, why don't we try opening our own schools? If we say that the hospitals are failing, why not opening our own hospitals? So I went on a quest. I told my boys, I was like, listen, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to open us up a school one day. I'm not sure how we're going to do it. I heard a debate between Malcolm and Bayard. I heard a debate between Malcolm and
Reason why we don't, bro, because we got a short term. See, all these other races, all these other cultures, they got long term. They mindset is set in the long term. Most blacks, too many blacks, we got short term. We don't think about the future. We don't, for the most of us, don't even care. Like I said about the PPE situation, a lot of people had some money in 2020 and 2021. All the fraud, the PPE fraud, the SBA, all those different situations. Man, I knew people, man. I knew cliques of dudes, 6 dudes, 7 dudes, female cliques, 8, 9, 10 female. They could have came together and thought for long term, but they didn't. They thought for short term and went and bought a whole bunch of liabilities, right? They could have thought for long term, put their money together, and bought a house and could have rented it out and had it in their bloodline for forever. They could have bought a little party spot. They could have did so many things if they'd have thought long term, because the long term effect was gonna bring more money anyway. But our people, and a lot of time, it's because of the way we taught, and the people who taught us, they was taught, and they got that disease of the civil rights movement, which is big and blame. Let's move forward, my people. Thank you for watching, and God bless.